Hey, Inbal and friends. Um, so obviously I couldn't be at Inbal's life because I'm in Israel until August 6th. But I'll do a little promotion for Hadar. On the 7th, Hadar's life ceremony will be at my house, so you'll see me then. But I made a video instead. And since, it's just a video and it's not that interesting, I'll try not to make it too long. So I'll start with when Inbal and I met each other. So Inbal and I kind of knew each other for a while, but we didn't actually know each other. I don't think we ever spoke to each other. We both went to Kennedy at the same time, and I'd get dropped off, and she lives really close to Kennedy. And so when I was in the car, I'd see her walking to and from school, and my mom would be like, Zota Bachel Deutsch. That's the Deutsch daughter. And then one summer when I was visiting Israel, me and Tamir, who you guys may know because he came to visit last year, went on this trip called Haganat HaTeva, and it happened to be that Inbal was on the same trip. He was also visiting Israel at the same time, and so my mom again was like, "Oh, that's the Deutsch daughter," and so we were on the same trip, and I don't think we talked till like the second or third day. But at that point, I went up to her and I'm like, "Hey, I think we both live in Cupertino." And she was like, "Yes." And it was funny. Everyone was kind of with everyone, but I was with Tamir mainly during that trip, and she was mainly with this one other American girl from Texas. And 90% of their conversations were about how people from California say hella, and people from Texas don't. And that's all they did. They just said hella a lot. Because I thought it was funny. So every once in a while, me and Tamir would join in on that conversation. I also remember Inbal having this like tiny little backpack. Like a tiny Jansport backpack, which was so useless. Because you can't fit anything in that. But that's what she used. Sorry. And there was also this one guy there, like an Israeli guy that was also on the trip, and he was just incredibly good at swearing. Something I remember. He was very skilled at swearing in Hebrew, and we thought this was funny. And then another time, there was this very large sleepover at Inbal's house. A while later, Inbal and I met again through BBYO, and then we were having this sleepover at Inbal's house with a lot of people. And I remember Inbal shouting at Iris for not having a backbone. Someone was mad at Iris was mad at someone, there was some kind of argument, and Inbal just kept shouting at her for not having a backbone and not being able to stand up for herself, which was funny. And the next day, after the sleepover, everyone left, everyone went home, and it was just me and Inbal at her house. And we drove, she offered me a ride home, but maybe we wanted to hang out or something. We didn't go home. I showed her Mount Eden, which is right next to Montebello. And so we did that, and we talked for a while, and it was a cool drive. It was a cool adventure. It was on a Saturday. And I had a lot of homework, and my family kept calling. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing something. I'll be back in an hour. And then they'd call again, but me and Inbal were having a lot of fun. She took me to Starbucks. She loves Starbucks. I think we went to two Starbuckses that day within like 2 hours. And so every time we did something else, and I kept having to delay going home for homework. Oh, it started with going to Panda Express. That's what we did first, and then instead of going home, we went on that Mount Eden drive. And the point is, it started at like 10 a.m. or something, and we just drove around for like 8 hours, and she ended up driving me to the event that day. So I never went home and did homework. I'm a bad kid like that. But it was a lot of fun. And for a while after that, she'd always tell me that I owe her money for the gas that she spent that day. Inbal's not cheap, but she pretends to be. And since then, Inbal and I have been hella good friends. That was a cool adventure. Every once in a while, we'll be like, oh, we have to have another adventure together. And we've had a few, but most of them are just spontaneous. The planned out ones aren't as cool. Just like that one was spontaneous, just kind of happened. Okay, next I have fun/funny experiences. So I'll start out with the funniest one. Screw saving the best for last. Um, so as you guys know, last summer, Tamir and Carmel hooked up. Um, what most of you guys don't know is that I totally hooked them up. So one night, Tamir was at my house, and Carmel texted me, and we were texting something, I don't remember. And anyway, at some point, she ended up telling me, you know, your one Tamir friend, he's really attractive. And I was like, one sec.